So hello everybody, this is Bhante Joe here, and just here at Petticoat Creek Conservation Area and Park here in Pickering, and thought to record a short awada for the internet. So could maybe start with a little bit of meditation. Let's start by kind of leaning forward a bit and arching the spine and looking down about 3 feet in front and closing the eyes. And can focus in on the breath, can know when it's coming in and know when it's going out. If we breathe in a long breath, can just know I'm breathing in a long breath. And if one breathes in a short breath, can just know I'm breathing in a short breath. And can focus in on the breath at the tip of the nose. And if notice any patterns of tension or tightness around the nose or the face, can just let those relax. And when watching the breath at the tip of the nose, can try to make awareness as continuous as possible. Being aware all the way through the in-breath. As the in-breath turns to the out-breath, all the way through the out-breath, and as the out-breath turns back to the in-breath again. Trying to make awareness as continuous as possible. And can do a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. So, hello everybody. This is, I think, let's see, I think it's July the 12th, and it's a nice summer day here in Pickering, and hope that everybody is doing well, wherever it might be. And so a fellow brought up a question at meditation on Tuesday, and we're just talking a bit about developing a kind of lifestyle of practice, like a lifestyle of meditation. And what he said was, is it kind of, should lay people, or, should we aim for Nibbāna as our goal? Or should we just kind of aim to have like happiness as our goal? And so basically in the Buddhist teachings, the whole point of meditation, the reason we practice is for the sake of Nibbāna. So this is for the sake of the ending of suffering. And so always having that as our goal is kind of is very important. That's the purpose of our practice. And so as a layperson, it's kind of to become like an arahant, somebody who's ended defilements, would be something maybe exceedingly difficult. There were apparently a couple of cases in Thailand, but they were people who basically took on the 8 precepts and live like monks. That was recently in the 20th century, I think. And so for anybody who takes on a particular goal, that goal tends to lead them onwards. So although whatever their lifestyle might be at the moment might not be conducive to the full realization of that goal, if a person sincerely has it as their endpoint, then the various things in their life tend to gravitate towards that. It's kind of like if a person plants a seed, like I'm sitting behind this large tree, and if a person, when a person plants the seed of this large tree, so long as it becomes watered, then gradually that tree starts to sprout. Within that seed is the potential for this kind of massive tree. And so long as the kind of tree gets enough water, gets enough sunshine, starts to grow, it's well taken care of, it keeps growing. Gradually it grows and grows and grows and grows until it reaches a massive size. And so in the same way, if at the right time people keep, with the goal of Nibbāna in mind, people keep moving forward in their meditation practice, there's kind of intuitive times in a person's life when their practice grows. It's kind of not exactly the same as the metaphor of a tree, because at certain times it's time for people to shed certain aspects of their life in favor of their practice. Might be time to, as a person's practice grows, their meditation develops, and their interest in having the Buddha's path as a refuge grows. Then what tends to happen is there's a time when the development of the Buddha's path conflicts with something that one's doing. Kind of might conflict with, one's penchant for what, one likes to watch a lot of kind of, violent movies. Then, eventually if one's meditation practice keeps growing, it competes with these things. And so in the same way, a kind of tree gradually grows, one's practice grows, and there comes a point where there's a choice. Either you shed, you get rid of whatever the competing unwholesome quality is, you get rid of the bad movies, or your practice gets stunted. It's like if somebody were to have a kind of, to put some kind of covering over top of a tree. And the tree can keep growing up to the height of that covering, but once it hits the covering, unless the covering's removed, then the tree won't grow any higher. And it can be similar with one's meditation practice. So long as one has Nibbāna as the goal, then one's life, kind of intuitively, sometimes one's life can grow in that direction. It's kind of this, maybe like an unconscious pull. Kind of like, these, heard that, birds, like the kind of, maybe some birds, various things, they have this kind of subconscious attraction to certain places, maybe like, maybe flying north in the winter. I think there's different species of animals that have this kind of like inner compass that, that guides them back. I heard maybe salmon or something have that attraction to the place they were born, where they go to spawn again. And in the same way, when a person has Nibbāna as their goal, so long as that goal is sincere, one's mind becomes attracted to that goal, kind of pulled towards that goal. But the thing about this kind of going towards Nibbāna is that there's a lifestyle to it. In the canonical texts and in modern day Thailand, kind of places where people practice and get results in their practice, people are basically engaged in meditation full time. It's kind of a full-time job. They're basically, the Buddha's teachings is to sleep 4 hours a night and to, get up and meditate in the morning, go on alms round, meditate for most of the day, meditate before bed and for 4 hours before you sleep, and then sleep for your 4 hours. And so it might sound like something extreme, but this is the way that the great teachers in the modern day also practice when they achieve Nibbāna. This is how they tended to practice. So this type of lifestyle, this type of skill that people develop isn't something that comes overnight, something that grows gradually. In a similar way, like somebody might start in elementary school kind of writing, small letters, and, gradually they kind of grow. Each grade, successive grade, they get more and more assignments and, more and more difficult assignments. And so long as they raise their skill level to match those assignments, then their skill level grows. Their ability to read and write grows until eventually, someday, some people get PhDs. And so it can also be similar, this attraction to Nibbāna that one has from the goal. It's kind of like growing in that way. You might get different kind of intuitive assignments. Kind of, one might feel, okay, this is the right time for me to do this in my practice. This is the right time for me to tackle this defilement. It's kind of like these assignments in school. Bit by bit, one moves forward in these kind of assignments. And then there's also there can also be phases in people's practice where it's like changing a grade, So it's where one can come up against kind of very strong defilements that one has. And there's a kind of struggle, with those defilements. There's a struggle with these kind of things that have been weighing one down. And if one perseveres, one sticks with the Dhamma, one doesn't give up, one keeps searching for a solution, those things can fall away. It's like changing a grade. It's like removing the covering from the tree. So in this way, having Nibbāna as one's goal is important. It's something that one has to have. If one wants to reach the end of suffering, that's the point of our meditation, is to try to find a permanent end to suffering. And so long as a person has this as their goal, their mind can be attracted to that goal. Mind will kind of move towards that goal. Even if a person's a lay person, whatever their circumstance, so long as they have that in mind, they keep moving towards it, then they'll grow towards it like the tree, slowly, bit by bit. But it isn't something that one's going to achieve just having the exact same lifestyle, doing all the exact same things. The growth of the practice towards Nibbāna is the growth towards this practice that's outlined in the suttas, towards the lifestyle of the modern forest masters, the modern people who have achieved Nibbāna. It's this lifestyle of putting forth a lot of effort in one's practice, practicing a lot, almost like a full-time job, and sleeping very little, eating very little, speaking very little, spending a lot of time in solitude and practicing a lot. And so this is the growth towards, this is where one's, the attraction of Nibbāna, the attraction of this goal leads towards this. But it doesn't have to lead there all at once. It's not like everybody has to give up, their job and their family and all these things. But having this goal in mind, it's like a tree growing. It can grow gradually. And when the time is right, then one, removes these various covers. It's like kind of going through the grades, One keeps doing assignments, and when the time is right, one changes to another grade. So in that time is the time when it's right for one to let go of certain things, to cut certain things out of one's life, to maybe start cutting movies, TV, whatever, video games, gradually reducing these things and having the Dhamma more and more as one's mainstay. So having this goal in mind is something that pulls one onwards. It leads one onwards, which is one of the reasons why the Buddha's teachings is said to be opanayiko. So long as we have this goal, then it's like maybe like the kind of the bird, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know much about animal behavior, but maybe like having the bird who's, they might be really far south in the States, but they have this attraction to go north once the weather changes. And so long as they have that attraction, bit by bit, flying stage by stage, they can eventually reach there, And similarly, like the fish who remembers where, it kind of has the attraction to where it was born. The goal has this kind of attraction to it. Bit by bit, it can lead one there. So long as one perseveres. So long as when the time is right, one abandons what should be abandoned, and one courageously moves forward in renunciation, in their meditation practice, and in making the Dhamma more and more the mainstay of one's life. So this goal of Nibbāna is something that's good. It's good for monks, good for lay people, good for everybody who practices meditation with the intention to end suffering. Okay, so I think leave that for now, and hope that everybody has a great day, and wish you all the best till next time.